y'all, quick spoiler warning, I am talking in detail here about the game Stray. So if you haven't played this game, you really should go play it or watch at your own risk. I've played many Steam games in my years of gaming, but Stray is one of the most interesting games I've ever tackled. I first found out about this feline game thanks to watching one of my friends stream it a while back in 2022. Ever since then, I've been dying to play this game, and I finally did in 2024. But then I forgot all about it. That's a classic Embur move right there, by the way. So, just last month in January, I played it again. And let's just say that this game is definitely one of those games that I fell in love with insanely quickly and made its way into my top 10 games of all time and into my top 5 Steam games. Yeah, this game definitely made an impact on me in the best way ever. Usually I play a few hours of the game, but man, I decided to go gun-ho through this game and fully beat it before I made this video. So, let's talk about this game. How a normal cat manages to make many wishes come true with the help of robots known as companions and a little drone named BlueTwelve. The story starts with this little kitty hanging out with 3 other little kitties inside a stone wall, taking shelter from the rain. You can interact with the other adorable little furballs before they go to the cardboard box they call home and wait out the storm. Once the rain stops, the cat wanders the treacherous landscape with his other kitty friends, and it dawned upon me. This cat needs a name, and I adorably named him Mortis. Yes, Mortis the Death Tree from Wizard 101, not the Star Wars planet or the fighter from Brawl Stars. Anyway, after a little while of traversing the landscapes with the kitties, they come across a rather weak-looking pipe. 3 of the kitties make it across a-okay, but not Mortis. The pipe gives out and poor Mortis ends up falling into the abyss below and ends up pretty badly hurt. After some time of recovering, Mortis decides to keep moving forward and proceeds forward into the unknown that lurks before him. He moves into a place called Dead City? That does not sound good at all. Anyway, you keep going, you meet these awful looking little things. They don't look too great. As you continue your journey, you'll encounter some puzzles and things that you'll need to solve, and you have to bear the hazards of Dead City on your shoulders. And it isn't long before you find out exactly what you're up against. And you see a dying robot. And he just straight up kicks the bucket right in front of you, which, okay. Seeing there's nothing you can do for this dude, you keep moving on. And you encounter an entire horde of the one-eyed booger balls from earlier. And they don't look too friendly at all. If anything, they look rather menacing and hungry. So Mortis decides he needs to get the heck out of there, and quickly. Time to boogie away from these donut hole looking freaks. Yeah, apparently these weird looking things are called Zurks, and they will eat just about anything, especially organic beings. And apparently they eat robots too. That explains the deceased robot from before. And it seems you're on the menu. Anyway, you outrun them and escape into a nearby abandoned apartment. After a bit more maneuvering and waltzing around, the cat finds an apartment with light pouring out of the window. Apparently, this apartment used to belong to someone a while back, but it's clear this apartment is way past its prime. It really gave me weird vibes just walking around. It really just didn't feel right, like something bad happened here. After doing some snooping around, you stumble upon a room full of machinery and technology, completely alien to our small feline friend, but very familiar to humankind. Now, my only question is, what the frick is human technology doing this deep underground? Anyway, this room actually gave me the willies. Clearly it had a purpose, but it just doesn't really seem to be clear to our feline friend. And, well, to me this room made no sense. Like, how is the room even running when the building, an entire city, has no power? Hello? I kind of want that answered, to be honest. After fidgeting around with a little bit of human technology and plugging in some power sources, You walk into the room next to you and you spot a rather disturbing sight. A robot body next to a pod-like machine, missing the head, and a note is attached to the pod. This area actually gave me freaking chills while playing. It showed that this was a desperate attempt at something, but we don't know what that something is. What could have been so important that someone would be this desperate? Anyway, once you jump onto a shelf, you push the box on top off of the shelves and find a drone? What on the goodness green earth is a drone doing in a place like this? Anyway, after you give this drone some power, you learn quickly that this drone is called BlueTwelve and has been stuck in the electronic network for quite some time and has very little, if any, memories of who they were before they got stuck in the network. Now, this is where the rest of the game's story kicks in. The rest of the game revolves around you helping the drone, called BlueTwelve, regain its memories while interacting with the companions, aka the robot people as I like to call them. After more running away from the Zergs, which would become a very common theme here, this time with BlueTwelve by Mortis's side, you stumble from the dead city into the slums. And honestly, this was a crazy place to explore, but it was also one of the more interesting ones because I like talking to the robot companion bots. Now, this is where I start to also have some gripes with this game. There are some areas where this game excels, such as the story, the graphics, sometimes, depends on what console you're on. The movement is not too bad, and I'll talk about the pros in a bit. But one of my biggest cons with Stray was the puzzles. Every once in a while, you'll stumble upon something blocking your way, or you have to find something somewhere. These puzzles, in my opinion, were way too freaking easy. Okay, I'll give the nightclub one a pass. That was freaking annoying and hard to get to. I'll give it that. Another thing that is optional but required if you want to 100% the game is collecting memories for BlueTwelve to remember, there being 27 in total, 5 of which you get at the end of the game. I personally didn't do this right away, but I did it later on. I really didn't think much of it. It wasn't something that particularly stood out to me, and honestly, that made me kind of sad. It felt like there was some potential that was lost here with getting all of BlueTwelve's memories. Sure, you unlock a little snazzy backpack, but, you know, it wasn't that rewarding. I wouldn't do it again. It was not worth trying to track down all these memories. If you want the 100% like I did, go for it, but be warned, you will most likely be there for a while. Unless you know, Google all the answers. One of the worst cons I quickly discovered was the jumping. I felt very, very, very limited with jumping, as you could only jump where the game allowed you to. That took a lot of fun out of exploring for me, and it pissed me off at times, actually. As a third-person platformer, you basically control this kitten and tell him what to do, where to go, and how to do all of that. But man, it is limited by the jump button not having too much freedom. When I first played, I was actually thrown off a little bit, because I kind of expected this game to have more free reign because it is a cat game after all. It actually was kind of really annoying to do jumping at times. Then again, to be fair, I guess it makes sense that a cat isn't jumping around like a rabbit, so I guess I'll give it a pass. Another con that I did realize was that some of the areas felt very, very, very rushed and honestly had some major wasted potential, especially Ant Village. This was the area I spent the least amount of time in and did the least amount of talking. It honestly felt like the most soulless area in the entire game, and that was a huge, huge shame. I feel like this area could have had way more potential if some more time, love, and care and passion was invested into this area. I love the idea of a town in the trees and companion robots trying to get by with what they had. It was honestly really, really freaking cool, and one of my favorite areas in the game despite how little time I actually spent there. Like every video game, there is one quest that annoys the crap out of you every single time you have to do it. My personal annoyance in this game stems from a gosh diddly darn blanket poncho thingy majig. In order to get out of the slums and to actually start your quest and getting back to the surface and your cat family, you need to fix a broken tracker in order to find some companion bot named Doc. In order to fix the broken piece of technology, you have to find someone who can fix it. There is only one bot for the job, Elliot. After scratching at his door, you find out that Elliot is trembling so badly that he can't work. Also, real quick, as someone who does that, let me say this, that is not fun. To acquire the blanket, you must make your way to the top of a laundromat and meow at the companion bot, making them drop the paint on the front doorstep of the laundromat. You must then sneak in and steal the detergent while the owner is preoccupied with cleaning up the mess. Next up, find some electrical cable. You have to find Azus. I really hope I said his name correctly. Give Azus the detergent and he'll give you the cable. Once you have the cable, go to the granny. Have her knit the poncho blanket and then rush it back to Elliot so he can fix the tracker. The only problem is, there aren't too many clues for you to follow to get to that conclusion, I'm not gonna lie. It took me a good while to figure out what I finally had to do in order to get my hands on the detergent. And then finding the cable was a piece of candy. You just gotta walk up to Azus and just snatch it once you give him the detergent. After you find him, at least. Yeah, that task was really annoying, but it wasn't too terrible. I know a lot of people talk about Clementine's clues being the most annoying task in the game, but I personally didn't have any trouble with that at all. If anything, it was actually too easy for me. But then again, we all have different gauges of difficulty. I mean, other than those three main gripes, I don't have a lot of cons to say about Stray. Trip already. Not into me! It's a sort of hit or miss for most of the areas, but none of these issues make it a necessarily bad game. One of the biggest pros I can say about this game is a common video game trait I've seen in the games I play, the silent protagonist. I feel like Stray wouldn't be as loved as it is today if the cat could speak. That would be a little bit weird and hard to explain. However, Stray works the silent protagonist bit in very beautifully, having the cat walk around using BlueTwelve to communicate with the other companion bots, maybe gaining some information from the companions. I really love how they didn't make this wacky world with the cat running around and speaking to these companion bots in whatever the companion bots speak. What is this, code? Another thing I love very dearly about Stray is the areas. I love wandering around the slums' giant buildings that you can climb with these giant neon signs. I also love to walk around the bustling chaos of the nightclub in Midtown. The peaceful nature and technology blend in Anttown is certainly something I won't forget anytime soon. And the moist, unpleasant, spooky feel of the jail. Yay! I don't think I ever want to go back to that place. Also considering the fact that the studio that made Stray, BlueTwelve Studio, only had around 18 and 19 people working there at the time Stray was being made, this is really dang impressive that these backgrounds and areas just happen to emit so much energy. Whew! That's pretty damn impressive. The soundtrack doesn't slouch here either, as when you're running away from the Zergs, there's this tense music to go with it. It felt like I was actually there, being the cat, running for my freaking life. When you're sneaking around the jail, there's intense music to accompany your sneaking around, and honestly, that made the jail all the more terrifying for me and not wanting to get caught by the Centennials and get my ass blasted. The music adds a lot to the game, as it would any game, and it really made it more enjoyable for me to play and listen to the tunes in the background. The place where Stray excels the most is easily the story. The story is one that I didn't expect to get freaking sad at some points. I mean, okay, the concept is also kind of goofy and I didn't think it was gonna be good, but then I really got humbled there. I got nailed in the feels many times in this game. Okay. Momo! Oh no, B12.
You! I trusted you, you piece of crap!
Whoa, girl! Wait! Clementine, come on! There's no one who will make it. I can distract him for a while, but you have to go through. The Outsiders Manifesto. We must go outside at any cost. I wrote that. You're one of us now. It's not that everyone has to get outside, but one of us has to. Go now! I'll keep you in my ram, little outsider. Oh, Clementine. First Momo, then Blazer turning us in, and now Clementine? Oh my gosh! These 3 scenes of sacrifice and betrayal. Blazer, you freaking bucket of bolts! The ending especially hit me hard. Seeing all the computers get hacked by B12, it really made me realize something sad and something really bad was going to happen to him. Then it did. And that cutscene that played of the light shining through the opening ceiling, showing that Momo survived when I thought he kicked the bucket, the Zerks being destroyed, Clementine getting saved from the Centennials at the very last second. It felt freaking amazing. However, leaving B12 behind in that control room, man oh man, I wanted to cry because I didn't want to leave him behind. Eventually though, I did, and I pressed on, and seeing that sunshine again, watching Mortis the kitten cat walk out into that sun, and then taking a big sniff of air, it felt damn good. Now all Mortis has to do is find his friends. Maybe. What really sucked as well is that we didn't get a reunion scene of Mortis and his kitty friends. That was the real tragedy of Stray. Do I think there should be a sequel to Stray? My answer may honestly surprise you, but no. I actually would prefer if Stray didn't get a second game. I feel like maybe some DLC would be a better option, like maybe going on a quest to find, you know, his kitty friends. But if BlueTwelve decides to make a Stray 2, I would play it 100%, but I don't think I'd necessarily enjoy it as much as the original, purely because there isn't much left to explore after the game is finished. You've already explored the entire area of Stray and everything is done in the game. There's nothing else to really do. If they tried to expand Stray's story, to me at least, it wouldn't make a lot of sense. At least in my book. Don't let my opinion drown out yours. So even if there isn't a sequel, I still love Stray and its story. It really was one of the best games I've played in a long time, and it has a really special place in my heart. Hello, amazing peoples! I really hope you enjoyed this video, and also just a quick little heads up, y'all. If my audio sounded off a bit in this, it's because my microphone is sadly attempting to kick the dust. I'm gonna get a replacement that will be better in the next video. Also, if you ended up liking this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos. Also, huge thank you to Arrows X for drawing the thumbnail. You did a great job, Arrows. You did amazing. Anyway, can't wait to see y'all in the next video. Take care, guys.